She was like an angel on earth. I remember the very day that I realized she wasn't coming back. They found the blood all throughout the house, and I knew.
Her killer is in prison.
And yes, I carried anger and hate all my life for Stephen Epperly.
Stephen Epperly was Virginia's first no-body murder conviction.
Because he did kill her.
So why is the case still open?
Now's the time to, give the family closure, to give them peace.
Gina Renne Hall, a freshman at Radford University, was murdered June 28, 1980. On the night of her murder, investigators say Gina decided she needed a night out. She went to a popular spot known as the Blacksburg Marriott Lounge. That decision put her in the path of Stephen Epperly, the man who would later kill her. Delana Bodmer, Gina's sister, says what happened next has never been told truthfully. In her first ever television interview, she says just a few weeks ago, a woman called her who was at that lounge.
And I have to admit, I cried when I heard her story. She lived with the guilt that she did not walk Gina out to the car that night.
Investigators say Gina left with Epperly, something that is not in question. What is in question is how she left. Did she go willingly?
Why was the inside of the car door pull broken? How did that happen? So I knew Gina didn't go willingly, but it would not bring her back to fight that battle. She was in heaven.
Reports from Virginia State Police, the agency who handled the case, show Gina went to a house on Claytor Lake. She called her sister, telling her she was with a man named Steve. It was Gina's last call, and the start of the search to find her.
It was a community effort that surpasses anything anyone could imagine. That came from Gina, her goodness.
People from Pulaski, Radford, and Coburn searched extensively.
I can't even imagine the disappointment that everyone felt when we didn't find Gina.
A remarkable show of support Lieutenant Andy Wilburn would note when he heard about and started helping state police with the case.
I'd never heard of her until about 11 or 12 years ago. And once I started reading the case, just like everybody else, it just consumes you.
Lieutenant Wilburn made it clear he's not reopening the case, and instead using a fresh set of eyes to try and find Gina's body.
I'm looking for her and her alone. I don't care how we find her.
An effort now being made a little easier, thanks to a new book.
This story's about her. She was just an outstanding person and obviously met a terrible fate.
Under the Trestle by Ron Peterson Jr. takes readers step by step through the case, going more in depth than even Andy Wilburn himself.
And I listened to the entire trial. It was a 7-day trial, and once I started listening to it, I was hooked. This was about 1.5 years ago, and I realized this was a story that needed to be told.
The book's release is leading more people to come forward.
I've gotten a couple calls recently that's really made me think. And I've gotten a couple names that I've never heard before.
And offering a renewed sense of hope for those who have never forgotten.
Her life exuded goodness. That was their mistake. They took the wrong girl.